Hi, I'm Jen with Jen Vazquez Photography, and I help the adventurous, fun, and playful party bride capture the life of her wedding while she celebrates the wedding of her life. Today, we are going to discuss 5 tips to getting your guests out on the dance floor. I don't know about you, but my brides are party brides. They love a good party. And the sign of a good party, in my opinion, is people on the dance floor busting a move. So tip number 1 is the DJ or the band plays a huge role. When you go to hire the band, whether it's from a referral from someone like your wedding planner or your friends, you want to make sure that they know how to handle guests. So one question I would ask them before hiring is to say, what happens if everyone's out on the floor dancing and you put a song on and suddenly everyone starts to leave? We've all been there. We've all been to weddings where it's going great, everyone's dancing, and one song ruins it and everyone leaves the dance floor. We definitely don't want that to happen. So I would ask your DJ or band, what would you do in that situation so that you can find out what answer that they would give you. Tip number 2 is to get out there yourself. I know this seems super obvious, but people are there because it's your wedding and they love you and they're there to support you. So if you're on the dance floor, they're going to want to be on the dance floor. So just simply getting out there and dancing yourself can make a big difference. Tip number 3 is to create a wedding day timeline. And I know that seems obvious. I do that for every single one of my brides. But you want to create a timeline that is conducive to dancing. So maybe right after dinner, do your first dance and your father and daughter dance, your mother and son dance, and then launch into dancing for an hour. And then when people are starting to get hungry, then you can do your cake, your garter toss, your bouquet toss, and then you can have dancing. That's one way to also save money because you don't need a ton of hours. 1 hour of dancing is plenty for your photographer to capture people having a great time on the dance floor. You don't need to be there till the very, very end of the wedding when people are in bare feet and sweaty, and some guests may have drank just a little too much. Tip number 4, the size of the dance floor plays a really big role. And because I was doing this video for you, I did some research on Zola, Wedding Wire, and The Knot. These are the stats that work best. So if you're having an intimate wedding, because every dancing couple needs about 4.5 square feet of room, if you have an intimate wedding, let's say 32 guests, you're going to need about a 12 by 12 dance floor. If you have an average size wedding, let's say 150 guests, you're going to need a 24 by 24 dance floor. And if you have a large wedding, like 350 guests or more, you're going to need what is typically the largest dance floor, which is a 40-foot by 40-foot. Now, there are custom dance floors, but we're talking about general-sized dance floors. If the dance floor is too big, it will look like there's hardly any people out there dancing. I know you've been to those weddings when the dance floor is so small that you're right butted up against somebody else and it's hot and it's sweaty and you can't really have a good time. Definitely make sure that you get the right size dance floor. Tip number 5 is to allow guests to suggest songs. And I have brides and grooms who that would make them really worry. Like some brides don't like the Macarena, and if they don't like that dance, they're definitely not going to want that played at their wedding. But what you may not know, since this is probably your first wedding, is that you can give a list to your DJ of do not play songs. These are banned songs. These are songs that the DJ will not play at all. Some of my brides have a really cool idea, and I've read this before also online, where on the RSVP card where they say how many people are going to the wedding and maybe what they want to eat for dinner, they have what's your favorite song to dance to. Then you can take all those cards after you've already made seating charts and everything else and get them to your DJ. So your DJ has a must play songs, and that will ensure that your guests will get out dancing because he's using or she's using all of the songs that your guests said they love to dance to. I hope these 5 simple tips will help ensure that you have your guests out there dancing and having a great time. Tip number 1 was the DJ or band is very important in making sure your guests get out there and dance. Tip number 2 was to get out there yourself. Tip number 3 was make sure you have a wedding day timeline that is conducive to dancing. Tip number 4 was that the size of the dance floor matters. And tip number 5 is to allow guests to suggest a song. Now, I may not make the best videos, but I do really make them with my heart and soul to help brides and grooms out there to plan a wedding, because this is most likely your first time ever doing so. If you like this video, I would love if you would subscribe to my channel and maybe even hit that bell, because that bell will definitely alert you whenever the next video I release is. I do release videos on Sundays, and I would love it if you guys would subscribe. I hope you have a great weekend and happy wedding planning. Bye.